Sundarbans is a dangerous place, I'm told. The tigers can kill you, the king cobras can kill you, the crocodiles can kill you. But here I am making my first visit to this world's largest mangrove forest with a bunch of people I've never met before. Should be an exciting trip. Though the Sundarbans is renowned for tigers that sometimes hunt humans, killing around 50 a year, cyclones, which are like hurricanes or typhoons, are far more dangerous. This, however, was just a shower as we moved south. It soon cleared and we mowed for the night, ready to explore in the morning. I've joined a team of wildlife experts, which means no lying in the morning. Instead, we rise early, perhaps have some breakfast, perhaps have no breakfast at all, and then we head off to explore the jungle. For most of the Sundarbans, the best way of exploring is by country boat, rowed by a couple of guys, or later by just the one guy. From the larger river, where we mow the cruise boat, we head towards some of the creeks and channels, a maze of which abound in the Sundarbans. You should be quiet here in case you disturb wildlife, or even the photographers on the boat. This is a flatland formed of sediments eroded from the Himalayas, washed down by rivers, and then held together by trees that are specially adapted to the environment. Aerial roots festooning the ground help the trees breathe at high tide. Kingfishers abound here, especially brown-winged kingfishers with their enormous bills. There's a host of other birds too. Sometimes you just hear the calls in the trees. Some of them, though, are much more obvious and are targets for the photographers. Minivets are really brightly coloured, especially the males. Bee-eaters, brilliantly coloured birds. There are herons along the river, only occasionally though. And as we creep along the river, we find other wildlife, like monitor lizards basking in the morning sun. Brightly coloured fiddler crabs with outsized claws. To some of us, even very drab-looking creatures are of interest, like a crab here, of a species little known from the Sundarbans, by scientists at least. Far more spectacular is this king cobra, the world's longest venomous snake. I guess it's around 10 feet long, though I'm told it's just a young one. It creeps away from us and back into the jungle. Sometimes during our country boat rides, there's little in view but the ever-present jungle greenery and the water. But usually we'll find a few things to photograph at least. Maybe a mud skipper, flock of redshank, or more spectacularly, some more kingfishers. This is a black-capped, brilliantly coloured, decidedly skittish. I like the brown-winged kingfishers, which let us get a lot closer. We pass nipa palms, the world's only palm tree adapted to life in the mangroves. Often our country boat rides end at lunchtime. Sometimes we're out again in the afternoon. A band of waterborne paparazzi still finds plenty of subjects to photograph. Though by no means all the animals and birds we find seem very interested in hanging around to have their portraits taken. After a steamy jungle boat ride, our cruise boat, the MV Beela, looks a very welcoming sight. In the evenings, our ship's dining room becomes like an IT room as photos are checked and edited. At one place, hordes of insects are attracted to the ship lights. We travel on our cruise ship, moving between various destinations in the Sundarbans, looking for wildlife. With a lot of luck, we might even see a tiger resting on the edge of the forest. We watch, but can't find any. Nor do we see any crocodiles. This here is a monitor lizard swimming across one of the channels. We often see deer grazing on the edge of the woods. Here we were lucky enough to see two young males play fighting. Eventually though, an older male decided enough is enough. Here's the galley on the ship. Plenty of fresh vegetables stored for our voyage. Fish at times from local fishermen. This is the national fish of Bangladesh. They were soon dispatched, chopped up and prepared, turned into a nice curry. There are only few places you can get out and really walk around in the Sundarbans. The forest is too thick in most places. This is one of the key places for maybe taking a walk, climbing the tower, having a look for tigers in this meadow. With all the grass, it's a favourite feeding area for deer. And in turn, I'm told, this is a tiger attack ground. Even though we've come with 2 armed forest guards, I'm always looking around at the vegetation, always wondering, is there a tiger out there just nearby, watching us? Well, we do see tigers, but not the mammal kind. We see just tiger butterflies. They grace flowers in the meadow. There are striped tigers, obviously named for its tiger-like patterning, as well as this one, the common tiger. And it seems during our visit about the only scary mammal around in this place is us, humans. And for a nervous human like me, it's at least partly reassuring to learn that in this eastern part of the Sundarbans, tigers aren't killing humans. Instead, they very much favour deer. We stay on till dusk, watching from the tower hide in case a tiger emerges, but none does. At another place, we see some of the carnage caused by Cyclone Sidr. It killed at least 5,000 people and was surely devastating for wildlife. Today, though, this place is tranquil again. There's a gathering of mudskippers under the small pier. Comical looking creatures, I reckon. Looks like this is the king and his loyal subject. If you wave your hands, they really jump about, really fast. Let's slow that down. We often see fishermen in the Sundarbans. They lead very basic lifestyles. Come on expeditions from nearby villages. And they're on the fringe of society. They're exposed to cyclones. Fishermen, along with honey gatherers and wood gatherers, are among the main people killed by tigers. Petty pirates prey on them. They're not supposed to fish in the Sundarbans, at least inside some protected areas. But some of them do. It's hard to complain, really, when the people are so poor like this. You see them living like this, it looks almost a Stone Age kind of existence to my eyes. No real smiles. A guy desperately trying to sell a fish to us, just a small thing. And at night time, even more desperate looking fishermen arriving at our boat. Country boat rides are the mainstay of our little expedition into the Sundarbans. On this one, we come across monkeys having their breakfast. We even cause, well, a bit of a tantrum by this here alpha male. More kingfishers along the river. They're all ever present, it seems. And always ready to fly off. Like so many birds and so much wildlife, tigers might seem pretty frightening to us, but I reckon to most wildlife, we humans are the scariest creatures in the jungle. Moths and butterflies are very obvious and really beautiful in a mangrove tree. But it took a boatman's sharp eyes to spot this vine snake, which pretends to be just part of the vegetation. There are monitors again, some of them quite large, a couple of metres, maybe 3 metres long for a big animal. And then it's thanks again to the boatman for finding another snake. This is a white-lipped pit viper, handsome and yet venomous. It dropped into the water, swam, and climbed into the bamboo here, sitting perfectly still. Moving on, we sometimes find white-bellied seagulls, looking like they're lords of the Sundarbans. As we photograph one shikra, another comes in, arguing with it. Some of the wildlife is quite specialised, mainly of interest to naturalists, like this mangrove whistler. And sharp eyes near the end of one trip spot this dog-faced water snake, which sees us, rests a little, and takes some evasive action. Some of the wildlife seems curious about us, watching as we go past. Like this changeable hawk eagle, didn't move away too fast. And a deer that watched for a long time as the boat approached and then decided, that's it, I'm off. Egg Island formed only a few